My gosh, what happened today? Come on in. Thanks for being with us here on the Hill. And right off the top from the Hill, we'll get to what the left and the right are both saying. But first, the facts. President Biden will not be prosecuted for mishandling classified documents. The special counsel, Robert Hur, who was appointed by the Attorney General Merrick Garland, has alleged the following against the commander-in-chief: that Biden held on to top secret documents relating to the war in Afghanistan. That Biden also told his ghostwriter for his memoir that he, quote, found all the classified stuff downstairs, end quote. And that Biden also knew that notebooks that he had contained classified information, and he talked about some of it with his ghostwriter. Now, you might be wondering why no charges are being brought then against the sitting president. Now, in his report, Hur laid out multiple reasons of why he thought a jury could find reasonable doubt. And that includes the following: Biden's experience of viewing classified materials could be viewed as, quote, unremarkable and forgettable, end quote. Hur also says prosecutors could not prove he had documents in his Virginia home in 2017 when he was no longer in office. Biden also argued that notebooks were his personal property, an argument that Hur said Ronald Reagan also once used. Now, this afternoon, President Biden celebrated the decision.
I was pleased to see they reached the conclusion I believed and knew all along they would, that there are no charges should be brought in this case. But I was especially pleased to see the special counsel make clear the stark differences between this case and Donald Trump.
So those were the facts. But perhaps the most damning line in the report about the 81-year-old president seeking re-election is this, quote, we have also considered that at trial, Mr. Biden would likely present himself to a jury, as he did during our interview, as a sympathetic, well-meaning, elderly man with a poor memory. Hello to you all. Thanks for being with us here on the Hill. Former Congressman from New York, you told me you'd rather talk about the weather and the Knicks. But we ain't talking about the Knicks.
That was the confidence stuff.
How do you defend Biden here?
Well, he's 100% right, first of all, that there's a clear difference established between the reckless disregard for law and order that Donald Trump displayed after the documents were requested of him versus how Joe Biden responded, cooperating every step of the way. Now, of course, no one is happy with that line. You can't be. It'd be preferable for a Biden sex tape to be released, but it's not. You know, in the end, and try to.
I actually think it's worse what they said.
They said he could not remember when he was vice president, forgetting on the first day of the interview when his term ended, and forgetting on the second day of the interview when his term began. He did not even remember when his son Beau died. How do you defend him when we know the issues are essentially, is he with it?
I could say that this is a high-pressure environment, and at the end of the day, a lot of people forget certain details in high-pressure environments. We've seen the love specifically that Joe Biden has for his begotten son, Beau, and at the end of the day, he has talked about him incessantly in multiple conversations, and I think that legacy is what it is. This is damning. It is almost to the extent that the James Comey memo was damning for Hillary. And I say that because obviously we're months out. This is not an October surprise. Right. However, I do think that it plays into the hands of those who consistently talk about Biden's age. And many of those are Democratic voters. So I think that this is not necessarily the most helpful for Joe Biden, and he's got a lot to recover from.
Nikki Haley's calling for a cognitive test. Ashley.
Well, I mean, I obviously think she should, but she should also do it, and she's also doing it with both other candidates, which I think is probably the right thing. I think you're exactly right, though, that and I still believe that this is more damaging than him actually being charged, because I don't think that the American people could understand all the nuances of this. But I do think that this narrative of him not being completely there is very damaging.
But nothing's changed, right? We all watch him day to day. This is not a new phenomenon. We've known that he's not really with it, and he's sort of out to lunch constantly. But just to help out my Democratic friends here, I don't think people care about this. I really don't. I don't think it's anything new.
You don't think they care, or
I think it's very, very low on their list of priorities. And I will go one step further. If Republicans focus on Joe Biden's age being the main problem with him, then they're not talking about the policies. So I actually don't think it's a good campaign campaign strategy, and I think they need to let this go a little bit. And as
the thing
Ashley
is
said,
that the two front-runner candidates for both parties are older men, and it is what it is.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.